Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Conversations Budget Focus. And what do we have today on our budget focus? We have one special car, a car that gives you a guarantee of safety, comfort, at the same time it has an element of sportiness to it that I really want to talk to you about. But before we do that, again, I'll just remind you that me and the boys have decided that we are going to enjoy ourselves on every single episode you guys ask and on each and every request that you guys put to us. So this is us, Conversation 2.21. Enjoying and just having a blast on everything that we are doing. And the good thing is, we believe and hope that you guys will come along with us on this epic adventure. So what car are we featuring today for a budget of 2.3 million Kenya shillings is the 2018 Volvo S60. And here are the 11 reasons why you should or should not consider buying the last edition of the second generation Volvo S60. And the first reason is the looks. The second generation Volvo S60, which is denoted by the codename P3, has undergone several tweaks here and there in terms of how it looks. And this is the last look before it entirely changes into something spectacular. So what do you get here? You get a bit of softened edges and flowing lines just to make it a bit subtle. One thing I love about Volvos, especially this generation of the Volvos, is their looks are not pronounced. It's not a look that you really look at and go, wow. Neither is it a look like you look at it and go like, it doesn't look good. It's a balance between prettiness, boldness, and just a clean, polished finish, and that's what you get on this Volvo S60. I'm going through the side profile, but some of the few defining features is, of course, the shield hammer logo design, and then you have your radar cruise sensor attached there, together with one on the windscreen as well. Then you have your active headlight lamps, which will turn with you bending. And the face of this car is quite simple, but where it gets more interesting is on the side profile, because when you come to the side profile, again, conservative look, a very easy flowing all the way to the rear, and if you look at this point, it curves in slightly lower, and that will make you think that up and down utapata a little bit of less cabin space. We'll discuss that as another feature, but that's not the case. This design is good, and one thing that makes it more better at the wheels. Now, Volvo has this thing of making very special and just attractive alloy wheels, and that's what you get here. Size 18 to be specific. It just makes this car look perfect. Flowing all the way to rear, again, the design language is quite simplistic, subtle, and non-aggressive. But hapa chini, you get two dual exhaust tips to remind you that there is a sporty element on this car that you can achieve. And then you have this blackened diffuser, which is not really sporty, but it makes the work done. But the design key of what you get at the rear is a boxy design. Reason number 2 on why you should consider buying the Volvo S60 2018 is, of course, the features. And what do we get? On the seats, you get memory seats, which can be adjusted electronically. And those guys who've owned Volvo for a while, the lumbar support, this one here, you used to have a knob that you used to twist here for you to be able to adjust your lumbar support. Now Volvo thought about you after too many complaints, and they've made it electronic. So you have that button here. Let me just move the seats mbele so that you guys can see. So now you have that button here, so you can press it and you can adjust your lumbar support. Of course, you get cruise controller standard. You get your electronic parking brake here, which kind of looks like that you'll get on a Mercedes-Benz. Something I like about it. And then something else that you get on the infotainment system is you get a camera system that, there are just two cameras, one a blind spot assist and one the rear camera, which is not the best out of there, but it makes the work done. And the good thing is, it's not active, so it doesn't turn with anything. So that's where you get. Number 3, you also get start and stop technology. And the start and stop technology, it's a bit special, because on this one, when you're driving this car and you're close to a stop, when you've just hit your brake, this car actually turns itself earlier, like 2 or 1.5 seconds earlier before you stop. And again, when you just lift off your brake, it starts earlier, which is one of the very interesting things about this particular Volvo. Something that you get as a feature is paddle shifters. We will try those ones as well on the road. And more importantly, the infotainment system, you have the ability to connect to your phone and use these dial pads here, kama simu, which is quite interesting. I like that aspect of this particular car. So those are part of the features, on top of heated seats for the front driver and heated seats again for the passenger, dual zone climate control. Those are part of the things you get. A multifunctional steering wheel that adjusts manually. But something I'll tell you, for people who are very tall, part of the feature that you get with this car is, if you're a tall person, you have the freedom to know that this steering, unlike many cars competition against this car, this one you can pull it further. Unaona venye inaenda mbali sana, you can pull it further to you. And this one I'm comparing to the Mercedes-Benz C200 or C180 for that matter, or even the BMW 3 Series or the Audi A4. This steering comes slightly further from the body of this car, or the dashboard, which is quite ideal for people who are tall, because they can put these seats backward and enjoy that. And finally, to add on the luxury pedigree that this car offers, because people who drive these cars, you know, luxury is one element that they're looking for, is you also get a sunroof, you know, and this is a very stylish looking sunroof. Subtle, just composed and placed in the right position. Reason number 3 on why you should consider, and listen to me on this one, you should consider actually buying the Volvo S60 2018 to be precise. And this one has something special pale nyuma kwa badging. I know you'll be seeing cutaways. It has what we call a classic badge. Now the classic badge, essentially what it means is this is the last edition before a changeover. As I said earlier, the first changeover. So that classic denotes that. Number 2, if you look carefully pale nyuma, you'll see a badge denoting T3. Now T3 is a new way of Volvo naming their engine nomenclature, and that brings me down to reason number 3 of why you should buy this particular car. That is the engine and transmission. And before I tell you what is under this hood, I need to take you back in time. I need you to understand that at a point in life, you know, Volvo has worked with a lot of people, and one of the partners that Volvo had was a company by the name Ford Corporation. And Ford gave Volvo a mixture of good and bad tidings, and the bad were more than the good. Okay, and in 2015 Volvo separated fully from Ford Motor Corporation, and that gave birth to something special, which Volvo called the VEA, or Volvo Engine Architecture. And that is the new generation of 4-cylinder 2-liter and 1500, and that is exactly what we have here. So under the hood of this particular car is a 1500cc direct injection turbocharged petrol engine. This one is an inline 4. There are variants of other Volvos like the Volvo V40, where you'll get a 1500cc engine that is a 3-cylinder. That particular one is courtesy of a company called Geely, which is one of the owners of Volvo right now. So Volvo owns itself, and there's a percentage that Geely owns. And on the V40 lineup, you will get a 3-cylinder variant, but on the Volvo S60 there is no 3-cylinder variant. So that T3 doesn't mean this car runs a 3-cylinder. It's actually a 4-cylinder petrol direct injection turbocharged 1500cc engine, courtesy of Volvo. Now when I say courtesy of Volvo, this is what I mean. When Volvo separated from Ford, they took back all the designs of their engine. So this engine was developed fully by Volvo. So they have this, and they have the 2-liter variants, both for petrol and diesel variants. And these engines have been developed by Volvo. Mark that one. Hii si engine ya mtu mwingine. And that, as I said earlier and I've said before, anytime I've reviewed any Volvo, I've told you the design structure of this engine. If you took this 1500cc engine and put it side to side by the 2-liter variant that is in the XC90, XC60, even some variants of this car, you will not tell the difference, because simply this is the 2-liter variant that has been down in terms of displacement to 1500cc, and because it has been made fully and solely by Volvo, it bites down to reliability, strength, because it was designed under the modular engine architecture, which was the former variants of the Volvo engines. Zile ma T6, ma T5, the T4s, the earlier variants. Hapana za Ford EcoBoost, the original Volvo engines. Walichukua hizo block na design structure, wakachukua wakawekelea huku na waka-improve few things about it to make it robust, efficient and modern. Okay, paired to this engine you get a 6-speed ISIN transmission, the same transmission you'll get in a Lexus RX 350. You understand? Because ISIN is a subsidiary company of Toyota and they're the one who makes this transmission, and Volvo has been using ISIN for a very long time. And the good thing about this ISIN transmission is it has 2 overdrive gears, and number 5 and number 6 ni overdrive. And when you hear overdrive, basically overdrive in simpler times, najua mtaambiwa mambo mingi, but overdrive in hii, so gears nakuanga na gear ratios. So anytime the gear ratio is lower than 1, it means that gear is an overdrive. It's beyond the normal drive of 1 to 1, and that is the luck thing with this car. So you have gear number 5 and gear number 6 as overdrive gears, and that means you get very epic fuel economy. Talk about fuel economy. So reason number 4 on why you should buy the Volvo S60 is fuel economy and power output. So what do you get on this? So the fuel economy numbers here, this car can give you upwards of 17-18 kilometers per liter. That is on the highway if you drive it moderately. In fact, there are people who've confessed getting more than 20-something kilometers per liter on this particular engine, and that is the same design language that Volvo are looking for when they were making these 1500cc engines. Because when you're buying this car with a 1500cc, there's only one thing that you're paying attention to, and that is fuel economy and efficiency. Power output, this engine will give you 150 HP and 250 Newton meters of torque. If you look at it in comparison to the competition in this class, I'm talking about the C180s, the Air4s, the BMW 3 Series, you will think like this car is underpowered, right? The dynamics of how this car is set up, that it weighs 1,600 kgs, that's like 1.6 tons. I can tell you that this car is one of the most underrated performance car that you can buy in the market right now for 1500cc displacement. Like, it's one of the cars that will surprise you, and we'll do that when you're driving with the boys. Let's go to reason number 5 on why you should consider buying the Volvo S60. Reason number 5 on why you should buy the Volvo S60, of course, it's comfort and build quality. Unlike the competition here, I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz. Because Mercedes-Benz has a habit of cheapening things up when they are trying to go for, budget. When they want you to buy a C200, they cheapen you a little bit. When they want you to buy a C200, a C180 cheapen you, C200 slightly better, C250 slightly better. You get the drill. On Volvo, it's pretty standard. Even if they miss out on few elements, there are few. You will not notice if you move from one Volvo to the other one. And that starts with, of course, the material used to design the cabin. This is real wood, my brothers. This is real wood, and I like this floating center console. It's just beautiful, very beautiful. This is iconic from Volvo. There is no one else who does floating center console, so this is iconic to Volvo. You have soft plastic hapa mbele, which is good and pretty. Again, on the doors you get a wood finish where the switch is, and then on the other door again you get wood finish. Now let's come back to one of the most important things. 90% or 95%, in fact it's 100% time when you are driving your car, or when you are thinking about how to go inside your house after a long day and you're going to meet your toddler. Toddlers right now, they are threatening the life of adult men and women. Unafika nyumbani, you want to go to the house, and you remember utapata katoto kako na energy. You're like, hey, 90% or 100% of the time you'll spend that time on your car seats. And I've said it over and over again, there is no one in the market right now who makes comfortable, orthopedic, good feeling, soft seats than Volvo. Like, this is hands down. The feeling you get when you're seated in this seat, it is out of this world. This is a car you'll drive for long distances and enjoy the comfort that you get. Not only for the driver and the front passenger, which they get heated seats, but the rear passenger as well. And I want to move there and just demonstrate, okay? Coming to the rear, just look at how comfortable these seats are, okay? In terms of build quality, again, when you look at the roof, you have most European cars with sagging roof lines. Show me a Volvo with a sagging roof line. You'll never get those shenanigans. These are well-built, well-put-together car, and they know the reason why people are buying these cars. That's why they give you this build quality. Look at this leather, premium. This leather will look like this for a very long time. That one you can trust me when I say it. I have a 2003 Volvo S80 that looks exactly this way. The leather looks exactly this way. So unless you don't take care of them and you mess it up, but this car will hold up in terms of build quality for a very long time. And then you get your center console, two cup holders conveniently placed. Let's talk about space, because this is where I feel, it starts to wrestle now with the competition. Legroom yangu iko poa. This seat is stretched all the way to the final point, and I still get a decent legroom and a decent headroom as well. Even though, as I said earlier, if you look at this car from the exterior, it curves downwards towards the rear, and you might think ukikaa hapa ndani utakuna jigonga hapa. Oh, the trick is up on Volvo sleeves, because what they've done is they've made these seats to be slightly sunken, so you sit slightly lower, and that gives you, enough space over your head. So let's go to reason number 6 on why you should again consider, if you're not convinced by now, to buy a Volvo S60. Reason number 6 on why you should consider buying the Volvo S60 if you have not until this point is practicality. Now remember, we have this slanting roof design, okay? And Volvo has made it elongated, and it has given you a very small boot space. If you look at it, it looks small, right? Now here is where it gets more interesting. When you open it, what actually Volvo has done is they have hidden the boot space huko chini. So this car is quite practical, very practical, and they have made it much better. Because now here, in case you're planning to store extra stuff or hold stuff up, they're giving you a splitter here. Unaweza weka huko perishable na huko weka non-perishable, so that they don't touch and mix each other, which is very, very important. But practically it doesn't stop there. Now you can pull these ones. When you pull them, now I need somebody to help me move them, but let me just try to push. There you go. So when I pull these ones, I can actually push the seats, and then I get more practical boot space, right? But it doesn't stop there. Fab, go around. Now for guys, add one nyumba, because you're the guys who love practicality. Volvo have made it possible. Again, unlike any other car in this lineup. Who is calling me? Whoever that is, he'll wait. Now you can actually lift up these levers here on this passenger seat, and then that one can also go. How do I do that? Are we good here? Yes, so you can carry here all the things you need in the world. That's the beauty of, again, buying this car. So in terms of practicality, practical boot space, practical folding rear seats, and then practical. A Mercedes can't do that, and a A4 can't do that. No any other car can actually fold this seat, except a Volvo S60. Reason number 7 on why you should consider buying the Volvo S60. You can disregard all the other reasons I've given you for one reason or the other. But this one is the special one, because it's the most important element of any car ownership. Okay, apart from reliability, because we will also talk about that, right? So this reason is none other than safety. Now, Volvo is synonymous with safety. There is nothing that you can differentiate between Volvo and safety. And because Volvo are the people that invented something like the seatbelt. These are the guys who went ahead, like in terms of technological advancement or fostering safety, and they share these safety features with the other manufacturers for free. But today, let's define what features of safety does this car have and why you should consider get them, because I presume you're a guy who has a family, or you're planning to have a family, or even yourself without a family. Safety is one feature that you really respect, because this is a car that you can actually have an accident with or in, and you can walk out scratch free, breathing, even if it's a write-off. That's how magical and awesome this car is. So safety feature number 1 is one thing that Volvo have invented. It's called the side impact protection system. And the side impact protection system starts with what you see here. So you see this place, the cabin where you guys sit inside. So Volvo designs this frame first. It's made of steel, it's hard. Hii ni kama uko na roll cage kwa gari. Like this thing is strong. This pillar, these pillars are very strong. This is a car you can roll in, and you will never understand how these things will not crumble. Okay, so that's feature number 1, and that is enforced by extras. Okay, so if you open this door, ukikuja hapo utaona hiyo kitu hapo wamekwambia label ndio hiyo side impact protection system, safety feature number 1. Now that one continues inside the cabin of the car. with airbags. You have your knee airbags, you have this airbag, the passenger has the airbag, you know, there's another airbag there, okay? And the most important airbag is this one, okay? There's an airbag right here, which is, I don't know how they call it. You have both. This one is for side impact, that helps you when you get an impact on the side. This one will deploy, okay? And then you have another one here on this A pillar. Again, that one will deploy. Like literally, if you are in this car and anything happens, you are just swimming in airbags, okay? Which are not good for kids. Talking about kids, there's a special safety feature for kids, pale nyuma. In case there's an impact, there's a special feature for kids. Fab will put that thing here on the screen. I've forgotten the name. I know how it works, but I just don't know. So the way the seats, child seats are set up on this Volvo is slightly different from what you get on other cars. Again, to protect your child in case you're carrying your child inside this car. Okay? Now let's come to feature number 3 in terms of safety. You have it here. It's called the blind spot assist. Now, blind spot assist, it's what you guys have on these other cars, as they will warn you on the side mirrors and all that. Now this one goes further. Not only will it warn you here, okay, this one they don't put them on the side mirrors, it will warn you here. It has a light here, you can see it, there's a panel here, there's a light that lights up here for the driver, and then pale nyuma again there's a light. Again, to help you just understand, if somebody is coming behind you or you are nearing to hit a car in front of you, this car will warn you miles in advance. And in case you don't react, it goes to safety feature number 4, which is emergency brake assist. This car will be able to stop itself if you forget to stop yourself. Okay, sometimes it works, sometimes best with the setup of our city and the way people move around, it will react differently, because these systems are set up to work in an environment where people follow the law. The traffic rules. Si mtu wa ndudi anakutokea ha. Okay, mtu wa ndudi akutokea hapo shida kidogo. So sometimes you might not experience them well because of the setup that we have here. Ukipeleka hii gari Githurai, hii gari ukipeleka Githurai ni taabu. Githu. Hawezi simama. So you understand? So that is number 4, number 5. Safety feature, again, you have your lane departure, lane assist controls there. And then something else you have is you have your, of course, front and rear collision mitigation. You have things like rear cross traffic alert when you're reversing. This car is packed with safety features to help you navigate safely, both for the people inside the car and for the people outside the car. This car is rated 5-star. Like realistically 5-star. This is the safest car out there. Okay, among the safest car. Of course, Volvo have other cars that has the same system, but these are among the safest cars that you can buy on the market, right? And that is reason number 7 on why you should highly consider buying a Volvo. I own a Volvo. I wanted to sell it at some point, but I kept it. The reason why I kept it is I realized there are scenarios and circumstances where I will need that Volvo. And there is no other car that I feel safer in, even forget the Mercedes-Benzes, than that Volvo. And that's the reason why I kept it. So I have a Volvo for when I am doing my highway hauls and I'm feeling a bit unsafe and I'm carrying my family on my platoon. That's the car I'll drive. Any day, anytime. Reason number 8 is one very serious reason on why you should buy this car. Second, I believe this comes second after safety, and that is reliability. Now, I know a question of reliability is one question that people will have a lot of back and forth on. And here is the reason. Number 1, I need you to understand we are no longer running your Ford EcoBoost. Pieces of bananas. I wanted to say something else, then I held myself. We are running real Volvo engines. As I said, and I've said a million times, I have a 2003 Volvo that runs the stock original engine, and I've never done anything away from servicing and doing the timing belt change on that car, and it has been serving me for the entire time. If there is a car that I can rely on to Timbuktu and back, is that car, and that's the same degree of generosity in terms of reliability that you get on this particular car. Okay, of course there are a few things that if you don't take care of, you'll get yourself into problem. And on this one, I am not the best guy to advise you, but I can tell you the robustness of the IC transmission from Toyota, the robustness of the 1500cc engine originally built by Volvo, modified, improved for efficiency by Volvo, is fantastically good if you just take care of it in the right way. But in case you're wondering, what are the problems that you will encounter if you buy this car, and how do you go about it, and what is the cost of ownership of this car for 1 year, then here is Dennis from CARSURE.
So this is the Volvo S60, which comes with an engine with the code B4-1540-3, and it is mated with the ICIN gearbox. So this engine, the B4, means that it is a petrol engine, a 4-stroke, which is displaying a 1500cc, and it is turbocharged. So here are some of the common problems that you'll encounter with this particular vehicle. So number one, you'll experience problems with weak coolant junctions, which mostly come plastic, na from time to time due to the heat hapo kwa bonnet unapata zina wear and tear. Your mechanic can recommend you replace them with rubber. So problem number two is that this is a very sensitive engine, whereby I recommend you do service as per the books, whereby ukichelewa kufanya service unapatanga inaleta shida sana sana kwa vitu kama turbo, na pia wana recommend that you put the recommended oil juu kuna vitu kama turbo which kama oil yako viscosity yake iko chini, unapata haitaweza kucool turbo venye inafaa, whereby they also recommend kama unafanya long distance, hata ukifika mahali unaenda unangojea gari kwanza inapoa kidogo kabla ya kuzima direct. So here is the layout ama lay down ya venye unafaa kufanya service yako. So at 10,000 kilometers you're supposed to do your minor service, and at 15,000 kilometers unaangaliliwa fuel filter, na pia mechanic wako inspect, angalie kama kuna anything that is worn out from the suspension to anything hapo kwa engine. Na at 50,000 kilometers unaweza angaliwa plugs zako, the serpentine belt, and generally the major service. So from 70,000 kilometers to 100,000 kilometers hapo unafaa uangaliliwe timing na ignition coils, na pia gearbox service, hiyo haufai kusahau. So problem number 3, problems with the PCV valve, whereby unapata hii PCV ikiblock kunakuwa na issues na leakages, whereby the oil ina force kutafuta mahali inaweza tokea, na hapo itapata inatokea kwa seals na unapata leakages kwa engine yako. So problem number 4, in case umepata problems with the ECM, it is very complicated, whereby you have to do a lot of setups ndio ECM yako iweze kuambatana na engine na gearbox yako. And now let me take you to the cost of maintaining this particular vehicle. So the initial price ya Volvo S60, and which this particular model ya 2018 is about 2.3 million to 2.5 million. Number 2, it being a 1500cc, fuel consumption yake it's averagely good, so haita kukimbiza sana, itakupatia about 18 kilometers a liter. That is practically good. So number 3 is the maintenance and repair. So it will cost you about 14,000 to do the minor service, and it will cost you 40,000 to do the major service. So minor service tuseme umefanya mara mbili kwa mwaka, inafaa kupatie about 28,000, na major service tuseme umefanya mara moja kwa mwaka, inabaki the 40k. So for 2 years the minor service will be at 56k and the major service will be at 80,000, but all this is subject to change kulingana na mahali unapeleka gari yako. So ukipeleka gari yako kwa dealership, na pia mwingine decide kupeleka gari yake kwa the local mechanic, mtakuwa na 2 different prices. Number 4, the tires and wheels, whereby unahitaji kufanya alignment, and at some point utahitaji kufanya replacement. So this may vary pia according to the size and the quality of the tires that you want. So this can range from about 8,000 to 20,000. That is for each particular tire. Next off we go to the insurance cost, which is always about 3 to 5% the value of the vehicle. So I'll go with the 3%, and the 3% of this unit nimefanya na 2.3 million is about 70,000. You will incur about 70,000 for your comprehensive insurance. Towards the end, ambayo watu wengi hawa consider is the depreciation of your vehicles, na unapata this is dependent on some factors. Number 1 is the availability of the vehicle locally, whereby kama gari ni nyingi ujue bei inaweza shuka chini haraka, na kama gari ziko very few, then gari yako inaweza maintain. So number 2 is the parts availability. So for this particular vehicle, unapata parts haziko readily available. Some parts you'll have to source from outside or import. Number 3 is the year of manufacture. Kama hii yetu ni 2018. Na number 4 is the number plate. And number 5 is the mileage that the vehicle has covered. For this unit, unaweza pata unateremka as low as 20% of ile price yenye ulikuwa umenunua. And kama hii 2.3 million, you'll have to maybe sell it at about 1.5 to 1.8 million. So this is what it will cost you in a year if you decide to buy the Volvo S60. So the minor service will be at 28,000. The major service will be at about 40,000. And the insurance will be at 70,000. All this added will sum up to 138,000 Kenya shillings. And now back to you, Ibrahim.
Finally, we are on to the bad things. So what are the reasons why you should not buy this car? Before we go do a driving experience and see whether it will fall into the good or the bad. So reason number 1 is the lack of spare wheel. I don't know. You guys have been doing this. I don't know whether we can hold to this reason or it cuts across the entire board, because most of the cars on this lineup do not come with a spare wheel. They only come with a tire repair kit. And that's the same thing you get on this Volvo. There's no spare wheel, and there is even no provision and space where to keep one. Why would you do that, Volvo? After giving us all these good things, why would? But at least consolation ni uko na katra yako hapo. But reason number 1 why you should not is the lack of spare wheel. Let's go to reason number 2 why you should not buy it. It's finally refreshing. Before I tell you reason number 2 on why you should not buy this car, it's finally refreshing to look at this engine and see Volvo labels all over. I was tired with the Ford EcoBoost shenanigans on the Volvos. Like, if there's one thing that made me decide not to buy a Volvo on this modern era, is the Ford EcoBoost craps that were installed on these cars. But let's talk about this one. Now, reason number 2 on why I will not recommend you to buy this car. And this is one of the most serious reasons why. And don't take this on a negative, okay? Number 1 is talent or specialized labor, or people who understand how to fix Volvos. We have a problem. Unlike many other experts who have improved. I like guys who repair Mercedes-Benz's, VW, Audis. You see them being tuned. There are guys who've done a stellar job in terms of updating their catalog. How to maintain and keep cars on the road. Unfortunately, the guys who remained behind are the Volvo guys. Okay? But here is the good thing. Having the fact that these engines are developed on the same platform with the older generation engines, it makes it easier for them to understand. That is on the engine mechanicals. But when it comes to the electricals, components, and how other things work together in the modern world, I believe there is lack of, or little for that matter, of talent in the industry on who will actually repair this car comfortably. Okay? And let me tell you guys, if you own a Volvo or you own any modern European car, there's nothing as significantly serious as diagnosis. If you get your diagnosis off, you will buy parts worth thousands and thousands of shillings and they will never solve anything. Okay? I'm in a Volvo group. I rarely speak, but I see things, I look at things. Like there's a recent discussion that guys had where a guy had a Volvo XC90 which had a bad fuel, high pressure fuel pump, and he ended up spending 200,000 buying all sorts of sensors, oxygen sensors, PCV valve, because gari ilikuwa inazimika tu after a while. Okay? And he went to a guy who understands how to do diagnosis. I'll mention that guy because he's a cool guy, and I believe he's among the few crop of mechanics or workshops that are doing a good job. And the workshop is owned by a guy called Imran, Precision Automotive. He went there, and that guy that guy diagnosed the problem down to what it was and fixed it at a very small fee. If that guy did that in the early phase, he would not have spent that much. So one of the difficult things right now to find when you own a Volvo is a proper expert who can dial down and repair your car with pure honesty and charge you the right amount na sikufanya waste dough. But if you are in to buy this Volvo, talk to the right people. Give us a call, seek guidance, get consultation from the right people, and get the right person to fix this car. Trust me, there are not many. But if you get one, you will enjoy your driving experience, your ownership experience with this car. Reason number 3 on why you should not buy this car. This one is slightly getting better with time. Is the ability that you need to access spare parts. Okay? Back in the days, right now even we have few vendors. Service parts, you'll get them. Okay? But again, there is a catch. Most of the people selling parts, especially Volvo parts, wananua counterfeit products kutoka China. Nimeimba, if you're buying any parts for your Volvo, please make sure you buy from people who get their parts from the UK market. Or even if they're getting it from the Chinese market, let the parts be quality parts. Zile parts zinauzwa 80 bob ama 50 bob huko nakuja kuuziwa unaweka kwa hii Volvo. Hii gari iko very sensitive. If there is a car that is quite sensitive to parts and quality of parts is this particular car. You get that wrong, you are screwed. So the biggest problem, again, reason number 3 why I would recommend you to buy this car is the easy access to quality, genuine spare parts. If you can afford it, please buy genuine parts from the UK. I insist, if you can afford it. Right now, the world is a global market. If you don't know how to ship, reach out. We will help you, connect you to people who can ship parts for you. Service parts, brake parts, the most important components of running this car. Please, wacha zikuwe genuine. Down to the quality of oil. You miss out, have bad oil in this car, you will cry. And you will start saying, Volvo are unreliable, no, it is you who is using wrong vendors, buying wrong things, and then blaming the car for bad service. So reason number 3 on why you should consider not buying this car is ease of access to quality parts. And of course, there being, for that matter, many parts that are counterfeit that will mess up your engine. On this one, I want to plug one special guy. We don't talk much, but he's a guy I've counted on a million times. If you join the Volvo group, and if you own a Volvo and you're not in the Volvo group, it's one of the most fantastic, phenomenal group of car owners because they share things and they plug you in for the right people. Okay? So there's a guy called Masha. David Masharia. Huyo atakusod na parts poa. Na parts kama ni mbaya, atarudisha na kupatia mpya. But never the day will you buy anything from Masha na kupatia parts mbaya. So if you own a Volvo and you really need genuine parts, I'll plug you in today. Without sijalipwa, go call Masharia. Masharia will sort you out with the right parts. Any day, anytime. So boys, welcome to the Driving with the Boys. Leo tuko na Volvo S60. So kwa maoni fupi fupi, what is one reason that each one of you will consider to buy this car? Mimi nimepeana zangu zote. I don't know which one among us the one I've given that you guys will go with.
Mimi naenda na safety.
Safety?
Yes.
By the choice of the thing you've selected, it gives me a perspective of what you're planning to become. Wewe Fulako?
The simplicity. Simplicity ya gari. It looks great.
Yes.
Finish yake ni premium.
So umeenda na looks na finish.
Finish.
Hey.
It's not shouting.
Yes.
Iko tu.
Nyinyi ni wajenzi kweli.
Unafaa una appreciate.
Kama ningekuwa hapa na Mbugua, I can tell you for a fact I get a performance.
So, despite the fact that they tried to make it sporty and everything,
yes.
hawakutoa ile the Volvo-ness in it.
Yeah, true.
Una feel tuko kwa safe car, grounded, everything is perfect.
So I'll tell you, this car, if you buy it with the other models, unaweza pata moja iko na kuna editions zenye ziko more powerful. So unaweza pata Polestar edition yenye ina push upwards of 300 HP. So the sportiness and the funny bit is it will look just like this. Like you're not losing anything in terms of comfort, nini and all that. Kuna tu vitu mbili zenye siku mention kwa hiyo list yote. And I want to do them now. One of them is I don't like this kind for 10 minutes screen.
Amefichwa huko.
Amefichwa ni kadogo. But the only positive about that kind for 10 minutes screen unajua ni unaweza cheza vida.
Badala nione iko na TV.
Yes, so kuna TV receiver hapo inatumia satellite but yuko kwenye Kenya iwork. But hapo unaweza connect vida, uweke ma video zako and then unaweza watch. Ama uweke DVD, naona hapa iko na DVD slot, watch. So ukiwa na mtu hapa na kusumbua, daddy, the only problem tuna imeface side ya direct. So itabidi ubebe mtu hapa na
mshika ukidrive.
Yes, again for safety, but ukianza kuendesha inakataa ioneshi. So ina blackout. Which is very beautiful. So mimi nataka tu tufanye story ya performance kwa hii gari. Because that is the only important thing tunafanya kwa 0 to 100 and then we discuss and decide does it live up to expectation, because tunapush hapo 150 na 250 Nm. Tunataka tufanye performance. So you guys are ready?
Very ready.
We do this.
Yes.
I put the gearbox in sport. Unfortunately, hapa sina kitu yote ya kuweka sport. But there was something here that you could change on the screen. But I don't know whether it changes anything. You can change from elegance, eco to sport. But I think that's the appearance. It has nothing to do with sport.
Sport,
yeah. Come on! Come on!
100.
Yes, talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me about the numbers.
Drum roll?
Yes.
0 to 100 in 12.09 seconds.
No.
Turudie.
No. It cannot be. It cannot be. It cannot be. It cannot be.
12.09.
12.9. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. I believe that I launched in a rush. You felt it, eh? I launched in a rush. Let's do another good launch. Kuna mtu anapeleka hapo nduthi. You guys are ready to try this again?
Let's get it.
One more time?
One more time.
Yeah. Ready now?
Sema kweli.
Okay, msema kweli ndo in 1, 2, 3. Better launch. Yeah. I see.
100.
Give me better numbers.
Better.
I knew it. How many?
10.94 seconds.
Now you're talking.
10.94.
Yes, na imeandikwa verified.
Verified. Niwapigie screenshot.
It's Draghi. Verified. It has to be verified. I felt the IC transmission slightly struggling. And that's where it loses. Plus, this car being a 1500cc, 150 HP. Again, weight gari in 1,600 kilograms. That's around 1.6 tons. I believe that's decent.
Very decent.
Yeah, very decent. A 2-liter C200 will give us anything around 7-8 seconds. So this one giving us 10 seconds is absolutely back for your money, right?
Definitely.
Patieni grading system yenyu. Points ngapi?
9.5.
Naipatia 9.5.
Exactly.
You've given it 9.5.
9.5.
Flacco?
Nipea a clean 9.
9.
9.
I'll also give it 9. The reason I'll give it 9 nayo moja ni access to parts and repair. Okay, I feel there's a slightly bigger problem there. I don't know whether that is proper English, slightly bigger. I think there's a bigger problem there. And for me, that's quite important. Anytime you're buying a car, I believe that's significant. So you will struggle kidogo finding the right talent. For me, that's why I feel I just denied that one. Apart from that, it's a 10 over 10 car.
Exactly. It does what it's meant to do.
It does everything. Fuel economy, 18, 20 kilometers per liter. And what else am I looking for when I'm buying this car? Safety check, comfort check, driver dynamics check. No, it's an absolute back for your money. Tufanye value for money. Tufanye the final reason why you should consider buying this car. The final reason why you should consider, highly consider, in fact, I endorse buying this car with all those things I've mentioned, is the cost or the price. Now, if you buy this car from KDG, and those guys who've been going to KDG to buy cars, we have this awesome partnership with KDG. One thing I love about KDG, and the reason why I really review their cars, is the fact that they sell quality cars. And you can see, they'll expose it. If you're buying a car from KDG, you will get something like this on the dashboard. And what this is a certificate of roadworthiness. It will tell you exactly the inspection report of this car when it was inspected from Japan, brought all the way to here. Utapewa details zote ziko hapa. So these are guys who are willing and ready to expose the reality of what they are selling to you. But if you go to buy any car from KDG, please go find a guy called IBRAH, kama mimi wa KDG. The reason why I'm sending you to IBRAH is because now, because of this partnership, you know, at the end of the day, we are also here to make sure we get fuel. It's more of you guys supporting us and us supporting these guys. Just tell them you've been sent by IBRAH kutoka Conversation and insist that you talk to IBRAH KDG, because he'll do two things. Thing number one is you'll get a discount on that car. Thing number two is they will give us more car to review. And thing number three is you will get goodies like a full tank of fuel and extras. Ni mimi nimewaibia siri. Okay? So help us, help you, help you, help us, so that all of us enjoy this journey. Let's come back to the final reason why you should buy this car. This car will set you back 2.3 million Kenya shillings. This car competes with the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. It competes with the BMW 3 Series. None of those cars is below 3 million. Actually, the 3 Series is 3 mic. The C200 is 4.5 million Kenya shillings. The Audi A4 is above 3 million. Okay? This car will set you back 2.3 million Kenya shillings. Ha! Ha! Why would you not get all this value for less than 2.5 million Kenya shillings if you're going to buy a Mercedes-Benz? Right? Like, it makes absolute sense to buy this car. You are driving the safest car on the market. You're driving the most iconic design on the market. You're driving a car with features similar to what you'll get in a Mercedes-Benz. What reasons are you giving yourself not to buy this car? I believe this is one of the ideal priced car in the market right now. A Volvo S60 2018. If you get the 2019 one, it looks, and the price difference might be very negligible or maybe slightly higher than what you get on this. So that is my final reason on why you should consider buying the Volvo S60. Again, this car has been given to us courtesy of KDG Imports. Again, along Gong Road, opposite Prestige. Pay them a visit, tell them we sent you, and give them, you know, your demands about what I've told you you'll get. Okay? I've been your host, as I have always been, Ibrahim Toloi from Conversation, and see you on the next episode. And of course, before I go, I have to big up guys behind the camera. So behind the camera is one idiot. No, not an idiot. Why do I call people idiots? Okay, take two. Behind the camera is one awesome guy called Fabian, and then Palekado, there's another guy called Karaoke. That's our photographer for the day. So hizo mapicha mnaonaga nimefly kwa hewa. This is the guy who gives me those stupid ideas. Anaitwa Flacco. So bye bye guys. See you. We love the energy. We appreciate you being here, and see you on the next one.